Start off nice and easy. Virgin have completely changed their value proposition. So when Virgin first launched, they obviously said, look, we're going to do adults only. Thank goodness that is still very much there. That's like one of their strongest value propositions that they offer. However, another one that they said was that it's essentially all inclusive. Now, these are about changes. So for example, since launch, yes, there were always extra menu items that you could pay extra for. There were always small entertainment events that if you wanted to partake in, you'd pay extra for it, like the Grog Walk. However, when it came to their main big entertainment shows, that was one of the things they said is included in your fare. Well, 2023, summer of 2023 to be exact, Resilient Lady launches, and I was actually on one of those first sailings in the Med, and guess what? They introduced the first ever show on their ship that you had to pay to go and see, called Another Rose. By the way, because I was on one of the first sailings for this, I approached one of the people from corporate, because they were all around there, about this entertainment decision. And I said, hey, look, is there a way for me to go see the show without having to pay? And they said, fortunately not, because you know it's included, wink wink, and I don't know why they made it to be a secret. People always mention this when you ask them about it on Virgin Voyages, that there is bottomless or unlimited drinks of these cocktails that are part of the show. And so I said, okay, well, if I want to go see it and not have the bottomless drinks or not drink at all, just like you don't even have to give me water, can I do that? And they said, no, unfortunately, there's no way for us to sort of do that in the system. And I was shocked, and I said it straight to them. I said, really, you can discriminate as to whether or not I'm going to be in the front row and charge me one price, create a separate booking thing for, or an area for those of us who do not want to go and pay to see a show on a cruise line that has promised that we're never going to have to pay to see a show. Anyway, this would be the first major crossing of their own promise or line to come, as you're about to see. Moving on to the next one. The second thing is the increase, and that's the key word. Increase in additional rentable extra charge spaces, or cabanas in this case. Now, when Scarlet Lady Virgin Voyages first ship launched and every subsequent ship thereafter, they have had these rentable white cabanas on the top deck. I don't think they're that useful. I've been on several full sailings and only ever seen them rented once. Again, that's only me. I have friends and family who have also gone, and I think one other person I know has ever seen them in use. Other than that, they mostly are empty throughout the sailing. It's really the epitome of a white elephant. However, moving on from that, we're talking about changes. So Scarlet Lady came out of dry dock recently, and Virgin decided to double, if not triple down, on adding more spaces on the ship that if you want to use, you have to pay extra, which fundamentally is ridiculous. First things first, you're saying that you are a luxury all-inclusive style cruise destination. Well, unfortunately, you are constantly adding things to pay for once on board. So first things first, how are you luxury if every 2 seconds there's more things you have to pay extra for? And secondly, you always said you don't nickel and dime, but you keep adding things that are effectively nickel and diming. You've just decided that instead of a nickel, you're taking $1. It's mind-blowing to me.